Hey, how's it going? It's Ollie here. So, in today's video, I'm going to tell you how to get the cheapest possible price for your product that you'd want to sell on Amazon. And it doesn't matter if you're importing from China, if you're sourcing locally, or whatever, there are 5 things you can do to get a way cheaper price and make a ton more profit selling your product. So, the first thing that we want to think about when it comes to getting our products cheaper and making more profit is actually kind of counterintuitive. Before we think about saving money on stock, what we should really think about is how to charge more for our product. Because at the end of the day, how cheap your stock is only ever going to be relative to the price you can charge for your product. Like if you've got a product you can charge $14.99, then £9 cost of landed goods for the stock is really expensive. But if you can charge $49.99 for your product, £9 is really, really, really cheap. So before we even contact suppliers or do any of that stuff, figure out how you can charge more for the product. Because then you can source better quality stock, right? You can have happier customers and you can make more profit. So we're going to take this niche as an example, okay? The anti-fatigue mat niche. Now, I analyzed this recently in a PDF which you can grab, where I break down a load of stats about it and why I think it's a great product. This niche is awesome, and let's say we wanted to import an anti-fatigue mat. Well, there's loads of demand in this niche, right? Tons and tons and tons of sellers making at least 3K a month, which is always what I want to see. And there's also not too many sellers with high reviews, right? There's 1, 2, 3 sellers with over 500 reviews. So it's a great niche. So if we wanted to enter into this niche, then how would we charge more with our product? Well, one thing you can do is look at the products that are selling really, really, really well. Like, for example, the one that's making the most revenue right now is this one here. It's doing £23,988 a month, right? Not bad at all. And this is, it's an outdoor anti-fatigue mat. So you could try and beat this product if you wanted to make a lot of money. And the way to do that is look at what's wrong with it. In other words, go check out the reviews and see what customers don't like about the product. So there's obviously going to be lots of reviews, positive reviews, negative reviews, etc. And they will give you a clue as to what the customers want to improve about the product. All right. So if we have a quick look, let's pull up maybe some of the really negative reviews, some of the 1-star. Okay, so it smells bad, right? So we could offer a product that doesn't smell bad, for example. Instantly, our product's going to be worth more money than theirs. All right. It was treated with some awful chemical and they had to return it. Right, understandable. Very large, heavy product, didn't come in a box. Right, we could fix that. Customer service and quality of item is very bad, right? So you can start to get some ideas from the reviews of ways to improve the product, and once you've done that, you can charge a lot more, right? So that's thing number 1. Now, once you've figured out ways to charge more for the product, next thing you want to do, step 2 for getting a super cheap price for your product, is message a ton of suppliers. So what a lot of Amazon sellers do is they go out there to, say, Alibaba.com, and they type in anti-fatigue mat or something, right? And they message a couple of suppliers. They get replies back, and with the Chinese time zone, sometimes that can take a couple of days. There's a bit of back and forth. They speak to maybe 3 or 4 suppliers, find one that sort of looks good, and then they order it. This is a huge, huge mistake. Why? Well, you may have spoken to the 3 or 4 most expensive suppliers in the whole of China. They might also be the 3 or 4 least reliable suppliers in the whole of China. Right? How are you going to know if you've only spoken to 3 or 4? Like, if you spoke to just one more, they could be way cheaper or way better than the other suppliers you've spoken to. So don't leave it up to chance. Like, if I were you, I would contact every single factory you can find and get quotes from all of them. Right? When my clients work with me and they want to launch products, the first thing I say to them is, we're going to contact minimum 30 suppliers to get quotes. Why? Because that gives us the best chance of finding you the cheapest product on the whole of Alibaba. I also say to them, don't just limit yourself to Alibaba. Check local suppliers. If you're in the UK, message UK factories, UK wholesalers. Do the research, right? Don't just stumble on the first thing you see on Alibaba and go for that, because that's what most Amazon sellers do, and that's why people complain about the competitions, because basically everyone's doing the same thing. So you can go through, look at products that you think would solve that problem we talked about, so it's smelling bad or it being bad quality or whatever problem you find, and then click on the listings on Alibaba and just talk to the suppliers, right? Click contact supplier, shoot them a message, tell them how many units you'd want to order. Maybe if you want to do a test batch, just bring that up, right? And say, how much would it cost for a test batch? Ignore the price that's on the listing, and also ignore the MOQ that they put here, the minimum order quantity. Ignore that, and just message them and have a conversation. You're going to find that the prices they quote you are probably going to be different to the prices on the listing, right? This probably isn't going to be 80 cents, right, or $9. It's going to be completely different. That's perfectly normal, okay? So message as many as you possibly can. Tip number 3 is do an RFQ to get the best quotes you possibly can. So I actually did an RFQ for this anti-fatigue mat. All right, and I got about 40, I think 39, 40 responses for this product. And because of that, I've got such a wide range of quotes. Now I can go in and look at all of them and pick my favorite supplier who has the cheapest product. Super, super, super easy. So to do this, all you have to do is go to Alibaba, okay? You go to source on Alibaba.com, which is right here on the top row, and then you click on submit RFQ. And you're going to see some information that you can type in, right? The product name, so I'd type in anti-fatigue mat. Right, sourcing type, whether you want it customized or not, doesn't matter. Quantity, you can just let them know, yeah, maybe I want 500 units. Trade terms, don't worry too much about this, right? There's different terms which you can Google if you don't know. FOB means they'll ship it to the port for you. Ex works means basically the cost of the product, without any shipping or modification. And in fact, they have the definitions right here, which is great. So you can read what each one is. Usually just go with FOB or Ex works, that'll be fine. And then just enter some information, like I could type in, I don't want this to smell like chemicals. All right, I want it to be really good quality. I want it to be extra thick, or all the stuff that we tried to figure out when we were looking at how to charge more than the other sellers with our product. All right, you can type it in there and fill out the rest of the information, and you'll just start to get loads of quotes back, right? I did a very, very basic RFQ for this mat. I didn't even fill out all the fields, I don't think. I didn't put a picture or anything, and I got back about 40 quotes, right? And then I've got such a wide range of suppliers I can choose from, wide range of prices, and it just sets you off on a way better foot to end up with a cheaper price. Step 4 is speak to all of the manufacturers and try to negotiate. Now, the reason this is step 4, not step 1, is an interesting point. So when most people think about how to get the cheapest price on Alibaba, or really sourcing anything from anywhere, the first thing they think about is negotiation. Right? I've got to get a cheaper price. I've got to barter. I've got to be tough, a tough businessman, right? And haggle somebody's price down and down and down and down and down. The reality is you don't really have much leverage to negotiate on places like Alibaba unless you're placing a massive order, right? If you're going for a test batch, for example, of 50 units or 100 units, then really the supplier's kind of doing you a favor, giving you an order that's that small, because for them it's like pennies, right? What they're interested in is people who are going to order 2,000 units, 5,000 units of stock, right? So really negotiating, you're not going to get that much of a discount. They might give you 20, 30, 40 cents off each unit or something like that, maybe $1. But it's not your biggest leverage point. Everything else is way bigger leverage, right? Charging more, the reason I put that number one is because there's no limit to what you can charge, right? Within reason, like you could charge a ton if your product's really, really, really valuable, right? You can make so much more profit by charging more than you can by cutting costs, right? As long as the customers find your product valuable enough. However, once you've done all those things, right? Contacted loads of suppliers, use an RFQ, charge as much as you can, then negotiation is still important. You can save a little bit if you just talk to the supplier and just ask, right? Always just ask. Then step number 5 is shipping. So obviously we've talked about the cost per unit. We've talked about messaging suppliers. But as you know, shipping is a huge factor when it comes to the cost of your product. Right? The cost of landed goods includes, the cost of the product, the import duty, the VAT, and the shipping and the insurance. All right, so the shipping is going to be a big, big, big part of that equation, and you can save a lot of money on your product by getting more cost-effective shipping. So there's many ways you can do this. Right, number one is I would get quotes from your supplier for shipping, right? See what they can offer you in terms of prices. Now you might find that, if you're doing a test batch, there's only one option, that's express shipping. Okay, so just go for that. You can't really save money on it. When you're ordering more stock though, they might be able to do things like DDP shipping for you, where they deliver the product and they deal with all of the taxes and everything. Sometimes that can be really cheap. It can take longer, it can be more of a pain, but it can save you a bit of money. So ask the supplier what shipping options they can give you, and you can give them the port that you'd like to be the products to be shipped to in the UK. Just pick any one, Felixstowe or whatever, it doesn't matter, just so they know how to figure out the cost. Then once you've got that quote from your supplier, go find a freight forwarder in the UK and speak with them and ask them about your shipping needs, right? They will give you another quote. And then what you can do is compare the quote from your freight forwarder to the quote from your supplier and weigh up the options. Which one's cheaper? Which one's more convenient? Who's got the better communication? Which one's faster? You can weigh up all your options and then make a decision about which one to go with. So there's 5 ways you can get cheaper stock to sell on your Amazon account, or really cheaper stock to sell anywhere. If you found this video valuable, click the link and subscribe to this channel, and you'll get more videos like this every Thursday. And also in the description there's some resources for you which I think you'll find really valuable, such as a list of products that you can actually sell on Amazon, which have been researched by me personally. There's also another link to my handbook which teaches you how to find products, and a link if you want to book a call and get some personal help from me and my team to help you build a 6-figure business. So check the description for some resources, and thanks so much for watching. We'll catch up very soon.